We're mindful in acknowledging that the land we stand on today was and continues to be occupied by the Indigenous people of this area, the Maidu, Miwok, and Nisenan, recognizing their culture that is rich with spiritual ties to the land and waters with which their traditions resonate. We are humbled and take this opportunity to thank the Indigenous people of this area. Sac State lies on land of Indigenous tribes, yet we never see any of that Indigenous representation on campus, whether that be signs like "You're on Maidu land," whether it be like Native American Heritage Month, having different community members come in, or Sac State going out into the community. You never see that. And so I feel like in that way I'm not really represented on campus or seen by the faculty and staff, just because they don't put in much effort to want to learn about the cultures. There definitely has been a lack of funding towards programming and towards staff members for us. We are finally getting our first ever staff member, particularly for Indigenous students, so they are taking a step in the right direction. But I think it is also important to realize that Indigenous students are still a part of that group and to also allocate funding for us as well. And there's this false idea that Indigenous people just do not exist, they're not here in this land anymore, but it's so false. I think that all faculty members should be required to put a land acknowledgement in their syllabus, to say it at the beginning of their first class. At all Sac State events, it should be said in the beginning. I think that we should have tribal members come in to share their culture with us to prove that they are still here. They shouldn't have to prove it, but sadly they do to a higher education institution. And I think that like UC Davis, they have signs around the campus saying you are on Patwin land. So for us to be like, you are on Maidu land, you are on Miwok land. And so I think just sharing, just spreading the education like you were on Indigenous land and you were occupying that land would be very powerful for students, but also for Indigenous students to feel more represented.